Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Meydan Racecourse here on Thursday. It is January the 19th, 2017. Gonna look at all the races on today's program from Meydan, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections from racetracks across the world. And before I get on to the racing from Meydan, earlier today I was looking I was getting some very reminiscent of Nat Al Shiva, so I was watching some old Nat Al Shiva replays from 2007 or so, 2008, 2004, 2003. 2003 was the first time I really got into the Meydan races. The Nat Al Shiva races back then, and Dubai. So it's I always liked the racing from Dubai, and it's the carnival. So let's get on to it. We have 7 races on today's program from Meydan. The first race is the District 1 Trophy Handicap. It's a handicap here going for a purse of $60,000 for 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 13 horses traveling 1 mile here, 1,600 meters on the dirt course, and my top pick in the spot. And please, I'm sorry now if I mispronounce a horse's name. I do that all the time, and it's just the number is the most important thing. I might say the horse's name right now, but it's the 6 horse Mutaram. As a top pick, I'm going to go with here. I'm going to go 6, 8, 13 in the TriCast or the trifecta. But number 6, Mutaram, 5-1. Fernando Yara is on this 7-year-old gelding. This horse has been running locally here at Meydan. His last, since November the 3rd at least. He made all his starts locally. Last time out came December 29th, Meydan. Fast going, 1 mile in the handicap. Almost same exact conditions as today. This horse finished second by 8 3/4 lengths and really didn't quicken up at the end. This is a racetrack with that. You want to be closer to the front than closer to the back. It's a speed favoring racetrack. If he sits a little bit closer today, I think he has the victory. But he just wasn't catching the winner in North America, who ran incredibly well. Start before December the 15th at Meydan, 1 mile in the handicap. Horse won by 3/4 in length and went away pretty nicely. Just an all-around great victory. And then start before at Meydan, November the 17th, handicap going 1.25 miles. Horse finished second by 2.5 lengths. Just had a little bit too late. This horse, has been running okay this season. He's only won once out of 4 starts in the current 2016-2017 Dubai UAE racing season. He's won once, but he's finished. He's finished second 3 times, so I think this horse should have a good start here today. So I'm going to use him as a top pick. What do you think, Rask? What do you think's going to win? So yeah, I don't know. He did meow, but I don't know if that caught it on the microphone. But to recap my bets now for race number 1 from Meydan, it's District 1 Trophy Handicap. Gonna go with the 6 horse Mutaram. I'm gonna go 6, 8, 13, 6, 8, 13, and we're gonna have to get this cat off this table. So I'm just gonna shake his treats. I just gave him one. That's why he's a little bit. What do you call that? That's why he keeps walking around on this table, because that's where I keep the treats. But so now let's get on to race number 2, and I hope you don't bother me for this next part. We have 6 races to go. Race number 2 from Meydan is the Uie Thousand Guineas Trial, sponsored by District 1 Vila's Condition Stakes. They're going for a purse for $100,000 here for 3-year-olds only. We have a field of 16 horses. The 16 horse is also eligible for horse scratches. He'll draw in, but they're going to the 1,400 meters on the dirt course, 7 furlongs ahead of them. And I'm going to go to the 1 horse, the Dolphin Blue of Kalari, number 1. I'm going to include this horse into a TriCast or a trifecta. I'm going to go 1, 5, 11. 1, 5, 11 here, but number 1, Kalari, 9-5. William Buick is on this 3-year-old filly out of Dubai, and she has a very nice pedigree and a very nice races under her belt. She hasn't started since October the 9th. That was in Ireland at Kirk. 1 mile in the filly's listed stakes. She won by 3/4 length at 8-1 and just ran incredibly. It was a very tough field, and she just ran. She was the best horse that day, improved, winning very nicely. Start before, this horse was running in France, and her 2 starts in France were probably her worst starts. She ran in the Prix du Calvados Group 3 at Deauville on August 20th. She finished 7th by 6 1/4 lengths that day and really was farther back. Really just couldn't keep up with them. And then at 7/8 of a mile Deauville, July 30th in the listed stakes, horse finished second by a nose. Again, really couldn't keep up with them. But this horse ran well at Sandown in July. This horse won her maiden race at Doncaster. I think this horse should have a very good run. Her last run at what do you call it? Kirk was very good. As I have another cat right now bothering me right in front of me. But I think this horse should have a good start here today. So to recap my bets for race number 2 from Meydan, it's Uie Thousand Guineas Guineas trial sponsored by One Vila's Condition Stakes. Gonna go with the one horse Calari or Calari. Gonna go 1-5-11, 1-5-11, and okay, you're gonna have to move. Say hi to everybody, but move. Okay, so now let's get on to race number 3. 2 races down, 2 cats bother me. At least I have one more cat. He's in the other room. If he bothers me in this one, we have serious problems now. But this third race now from Meydan, I could stop the video right now and start it over, but it's so funny with these cats. I'm going to keep going. But this third race now from Meydan is the Meydan SOPA Trophy Handicap. It's going for a purse of $125,000 for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 17 horses. The 15, 16, and 17 our reserves are also eligible, so they don't run unless a horse scratches out of the main body of the field. Field of that many horses traveling 1,000 meters on the turf course, 5 furlongs ahead of them. And my top pick in the spot, I'm going to go to the 6-horse Line of Reason. I'm going to include him into a TriCast or trifecta here. I'm going to go 6-4-10. 6-4-10, but number 6, Line of Reason, Martin Lane, is on the 7-year-old gelding. This horse has started at the Carnival already at Meydan, most recently January the 5th, going 5 furlongs in a handicap. Horse finished 5th by 2.5 lengths behind Ertjal, whatever the horse's name was that day, who won, who's a very incredible sprinter in the UAE. This horse finished 5th behind him. Really couldn't keep up with them. Something I have noticed in the past, horses that come to the UAE from the UK, Ireland, Europe, they really need a start under the belt. And I think today this horse should really do well second off the layoff here. But start before at Newcastle in the UK, 7/21st, 5 furlongs in a handicap. Horse finished 3rd by 1 3/4 lengths at 9-2, and really couldn't keep up with them. Wasn't his best of runs. And then start before came Ashanti and the Prix de Alabai Longchamp. Horse finished 8th by 3 3/4 lengths behind Marsha and Washington D.C. and Mecca's Angels. 3 very incredible horses. Horse really couldn't keep up with them. But that was a tough race. He proved next start the class wasn't there that day, and second off the started after Newcastle was very good. He needed the race last time. Today I think this horse should be firing 6-20. I think that's a great price on this one. So to recap my bets for race number 3 from Meydan, it's the Meydan SOPA Trophy Handicap. Gonna go with the 6-horse Line of Reason. Gonna go 6-4-10 in the TriCast, so the trifecta. So now let's get on to race number 4, and you really want to sit there. Yeah, I guess we want to sit there. But the 4th race now from Meydan is the Meydan SOPA Handicap. Handicap here for going for a purse of $125,000. We have a field of 11 horses going the 2,000 meters on the turf course, 1.25 miles ahead of them. And my top pick in this spot, I'm going to go to the 7-horse here. Number 7, Fog of War. I'm going to go 7-9-6. 7-9-6 in the TriCast or the trifecta. And if you knock over my coffee, you're not going to like that because you're not going to get any treats after that. But I mean it, this cat, he's really testing my nerves today. So 7-9-6 in the Meydan SOPA Handicap. Just keep these treats next to me to get them off. But number 7, Fog of War, another Godolphin horse, 5-1. Christophe Simeon, the French jockey, is riding this one. This horse has been running in Ireland. His most recent start came September 13th at Curragh, 1.25 miles in a Premier Handicap. Horse finished second by a nose, and in a field of 21 horses, this horse just missed a victory. It was closing up, but just closed up a little bit too late. If he runs that race today, I think he has it. He is making his dirt debut today, which I don't think should be a problem. I think he should do well. Start before at Galway, July 31st in the Premier Handicap. Horse finished 10th by 12 lengths and really just didn't like the ground. It was a very wet ground, and just the way looking at the replay, he just, he just didn't look like himself that day. And then start before Kirk, June the 26th of 2015 in Premier Handicap. Horse finished fourth by 3 1/4 lengths. Really didn't show up. This horse hasn't started since 2015. I have to mention that. But last week Godolphin did have a horse that didn't run since 2015 and win. In last week's, I believe it was the second race on Thursday, whatever that big Stayers race. But I think Godolphin will have this horse ready. I think he should really do well. 5-1. So to recap my bets for race number 4 from Meydan SOPA Handicap. Gonna go with the 7 horse Fog of War. Gonna include him into a TriCast or a trifecta here. I'm gonna go 7-9-6. So now let's get on to race number 5. The 5th race from Meydan is the Al Fahadi Fort, sponsored by Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum District 1 Stakes. It's going for a purse $250,000 for 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 8 horses traveling the 1,400 meters or 7 furlongs on the turf course. My top pick in the spot, I'm going to go to the 2 horse and the old man in this field, number 2, who is Anaerobio. 276 in the TriCast, but number 2, Anaerobio, Pat Cosgrove is on this Mike DeCock trained 10-year-olds. This horse has been around the block a few times. He has 1 start under his season so far in the UAE. That was on January the 5th, going 7 furlongs and a handicap. This horse finished 7 by 3 3/4 lengths that day. It was a field of 16 horses, and this horse just needed the start. It was his first start since February. I think second off the left, this horse should really be running well here today. Start before Qatar, in the country of Qatar, at the race course there. February 26th, 1 mile and a basic handicap. Horse finished 8th by 8 1/4 lengths. He beat half the field home, but it still wasn't enough. It was an all-out finish, but he just didn't show up that day. And then the last time Christoph Simeon teamed up to ride this horse, January 28th at Meydan, 7 furlongs in a handicap. Horse won by nose and really ran incredibly well. I think they've been marking out this race for this horse to run in. I think this horse should have a good start. Something I noticed, this horse does not run well first off the layoff. Second off the layoff, this horse always runs. So 5-1 on this one. I think he should do well. And he has a really nice career under his belt. He's been running in some nice Group 1s, Group 2s in the UAE. He ran the Jebel Hada a few years ago, finished 9th. 7th in the Zebel Mile. His best finish in one of these, in one of these big stakes races, came in this race in 2015. He finished 4th in this race by 5 lengths. He needed a little extra kick, but I think today this horse should be really peaking second off the layoff. So to recap my bets for race number 5 for Meydan, it's the Al Fahadi Fort, sponsored by Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum District 1. Gonna go with the 2 horse Anaerobio. Gonna go 276 in the TriCast. So now let's get on to race number 6 from Meydan. The 6th race is the District 1 Handicap. It's going for an estimated purse of $125,000 for 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 10 horses traveling 6 furlongs or 1,200 meters on the dirt course. And my top pick in the spot, I'm going to go to the 8 horse, number 8. And you have to get down. Number 8, Indianapolis. He used to run in the States years ago. And I think he has a great chance of winning here. I'm going to go 8-9-3 in this race in the TriCast. But number 8, Indianapolis, Richard Mullen at 15-1. So he's up there in price. This horse has 1 start under his belt in this current Dubai season. That was on December the 15th. Made on 6 furlongs on a listed stakes. Horse finished 7th by 17 lengths. He needed the race. It was his first start since last February, and he just didn't show up at all. Start before it, February the 4th at Meydan, a mile and the Group 3 Firebreak Stakes. Horse finished 7th by 15 lengths, and really didn't close up that well. Really wasn't with him. Stretching out to a mile wasn't his thing. He's back to 6 furlongs, second off the layoff. I think this horse really run well. He ran his start before came January the 14th at Meydan, 6 furlongs in a listed stakes. Horse finished 6th by 12 lengths. Really again didn't show up at all. He before those December 2015, this horse was running here in the States. He ran the 2014 Malibu at Santa Anita. He finished 4th. He finished 10th in the Breeders' Cup Sprint at Santa Anita in 2014, and then won a basic optional claimer, won a 3-year-old stakes race at Santa Anita. He's a very good Bob Baffert sprinter. I think at this spot today, this horse will really have a good run, so I'm going to use him here as a top pick. So to recap my bets, race number 6 from Meydan, it's the District 1 Handicap. Going to go with the 8 horse Indianapolis. Going to go 8-9-3. 893 in the tri-cast. So now let's get on to race number 7, the final race on today's program. And I have to thank you for staying and watching all this video. As you can tell, there was no disruptions at all by cats in this video. um, but the 7th race finally from Meydan is the District 1 Mansions Handicap. It's going for a purse of $125,000 for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 17 horses. The 15, 16, and 17 are reserves are all as well. If somebody scratches from the main part of the field, those horses entered. They're traveling a mile and a quarter here on the turf course, 2,000 meters. And remember, at Meydan, it's a 1-turn mile and a quarter, which I really like. It's the closest thing that comes to it here in American races is probably the 1-turn a mile and the 8th races at Belmont on the main track. But these mile and a quarter races are very fun here at Meydan. But my top pick in the spot, I'm going to go to the 5-horse Folks Wood. I'm going to go 5-2-4 in the tri-cast or the trifecta. But number 5, Folks Wood, 5-1. Colma O'Donoghue is on this Godolphin trained 4-year-old gelding out of Exceed and Excel. This horse hasn't started since August the 28th at Yarwick. Mile and a quarter in a handicap. Horse finished second by length that day. And was closing up that day. Closed up a little bit too late, but got second in the while closing up. He's back to turf today, which I think this horse should do well. He's always been on turf, so what am I saying? Back to turf, but he should do well here today. Start before on July 23rd at Ascot, 1 mile in the handicap. Horse finished third by 1 3/4 lengths. This horse, he was closing up for third, but the mile distance was a little bit too short. I think the mile and a quarter should really suit this one, and plus the long stretch of 600 meters here at Meydan should really help this horse also. His last victory came at Newmarket in April of 2016. 1 mile in the handicap, horse won by 2 3/4 lengths, ran incredibly well as favorite. So I think this horse should have a good start here today. So to recap my bets for race number 7 from Meydan, the final race on today's program, it's District 1 Mansions Handicap. Gonna go with the 5-horse here, Folks Wood. Gonna go 5-2-4. 5-2-4 in the tri-cast or the trifecta. So good luck to all, and follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5.